Have you ever pondered how a simple change in fire's temperature forever altered humanity's destiny? Think about it. Mastering the precise temperature of 1,538 degrees Celsius didn't just melt iron. It melted the ancient social structures that had stood firm for millennia. Picture yourself standing before a blazing furnace in ancient times. The heat radiates against your face as flames dance and twist, reaching temperatures our ancestors had never before controlled. This wasn't just about making metal tools. This was about reshaping the very foundations of civilization. In workshops scattered across the ancient world, skilled craftsmen were mastering this scorching temperature, unlocking the secrets of iron. Meanwhile, entire empires watched in trepidation as the blood-red glow of this revolutionary metal began to spread across their known world. Those who controlled iron controlled the future. This was more than a technological breakthrough. As the iron heated and transformed in those ancient furnaces, so too did human society itself transform. Old hierarchies crumbled like heated metal, and new powers rose from the ashes of the Bronze Age. Welcome to the Iron Age, where humanity's story was literally forged in fire. Here, in temperatures hot enough to make stone weep metal tears, our ancestors crafted not just weapons and tools, but a new world order. This is the tale of how mastery over fire and metal reshaped our civilization forever. Before we embark on this sonic journey through prehistory, remember to like this video and subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more fascinating stories of how our ancestors changed the world. This is not just a story about metal. This is the story of how humanity harnessed the power of extreme heat to forge their dreams into reality, forever changing the course of history. Let's begin this burning tale of transformation, power, and the dawn of a new era. Around 1200 BCE, a quiet revolution began reshaping the ancient world in ways no one could have predicted. While great empires rose and fell, while kings fought their wars and merchants sailed their trade routes, a transformative force was slowly emerging from the smoke of countless furnaces across the ancient Near East. For 3,000 years, bronze had reigned supreme. This alloy of copper and tin had built civilizations, armed armies, and created complex trade networks stretching from the British Isles to Afghanistan. The elite controlled these precious metals, their trade routes, and thus they controlled power itself. But then came iron. Unlike the rare and precious materials needed for bronze, iron ore was abundant, scattered across the landscape like nature's gift to humanity. This accessibility would prove revolutionary. Iron wasn't just another metal, it was democracy forged in fire. The transition wasn't immediate. At first, iron was actually harder to work with than bronze. It required higher temperatures, more sophisticated techniques, and a deep understanding of metallurgy. The Hittites of Anatolia were among the first to master these secrets, gaining a temporary advantage over their rivals. But unlike bronze-working knowledge, iron-working couldn't remain monopolized forever. As iron technology spread, it triggered cascading changes throughout society. Traditional power structures based on controlling copper and tin trade routes began to crumble. Smaller kingdoms and cities, previously dependent on Bronze Age empires, could now forge their own destinies, quite literally. This revolution rippled through every aspect of ancient life. Farmers could now afford metal plowshares, dramatically increasing food production. Armies could equip more soldiers with stronger weapons. Artisans could create tools that lasted longer and performed better than their bronze counterparts. The economic impact was profound. The complex trade networks that had defined the Bronze Age began to shift. Cities that had grown wealthy controlling copper or tin resources found their influence waning. Meanwhile, new centers of power emerged around iron deposits and areas with abundant wood for charcoal production. This was more than a mere technological advance. It was a complete restructuring of ancient society. The Iron Age brought with it new possibilities for social mobility, military power, and economic independence. What started as a metallurgical innovation became a force that would reshape human civilization for millennia to come. As we look back across the centuries, we can see that the Iron Age wasn't just about the metal itself. It was about how this new technology democratized power, reorganized societies, and gave rise to new forms of political and economic organization that would shape the ancient world for centuries to come. Picture Armanzi, a young Hittite blacksmith in the ancient city of Hattusa, around 1300 BCE. At just 20 summers old, he already bears the weight of one of antiquity's most precious secrets, the art of iron working. His calloused hands, scarred by countless burns, tell the story of dedication to his craft. In his workshop, as dawn breaks over the Anatolian plateau, our Manzi works the bellows with practiced precision. The temperature in his furnace climbs steadily until the iron ore begins to glow with an almost supernatural radiance. The ancient Hittites didn't just work with iron. They understood it, respected it, and guarded its secrets with their lives. The entire city's rhythm flows through our Manzi's forge. At first light, farmers gather outside his workshop, waiting to have their plowshares repaired or replaced. These iron tools, far more durable than their bronze predecessors, have revolutionized agriculture in the fertile valleys surrounding Hattusa. By midday, warriors from the King's Guard arrive, their iron swords and spears requiring maintenance or replacement. But our Manzi isn't just a craftsman, he's a keeper of sacred knowledge. The techniques he uses have been passed down through generations of master smiths, each adding their own discoveries to the collective wisdom. The precise mixture of ores, the exact temperature of the forge, the careful timing of heating and cooling, these are secrets worth more than gold in the ancient world. As he works, merchants from distant lands linger nearby, hoping to glimpse the mysterious processes that transform raw ore into the mighty metal that has made the Hittite Empire so powerful. But our Manzi knows better. Every movement is carefully guarded, every technique shrouded in ritualistic behavior to confuse onlookers. In the evenings, our Manzi trains his apprentice, carefully selecting which secrets to reveal and which to hold back until the young man proves worthy. The responsibility weighs heavily on him. One careless word to a foreign trader, one detail revealed too soon to an apprentice, and centuries of carefully guarded knowledge could spread beyond their control. Through his daily work, our Manzi connects every level of society, from the humble potter who needs new tools to the mighty king whose armies depend on iron weapons. He stands at the intersection of tradition and innovation, of craft and power, of practical skill and sacred knowledge. As night falls and the forge's glow dims, our Manzi reflects on his role in this great empire. He knows that his mastery of iron working makes him more than just a craftsman. He is a guardian of the force that shapes kingdoms, builds civilizations, and changes the course of history itself. This is the story of more than just a blacksmith. It's the tale of how specialized knowledge and technological mastery shaped the ancient world, told through the eyes of those who lived it, worked it, and guarded its secrets with their lives. In ancient times, blacksmiths were more than craftsmen. They were viewed as sorcerers who could transform stone into metal through mysterious rituals. This perception wasn't entirely misplaced, for iron metallurgy represented one of humanity's most sophisticated technological achievements to date. Let's delve into the revolutionary technological advancements that made the Iron Age possible. The first breakthrough came with the development of advanced furnaces. These structures needed to reach and maintain temperatures of 1,538 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt iron. This was an astronomical leap from the 1,100 degrees required for bronze. Ancient smiths developed sophisticated chimney systems and bellows designs that could achieve these extreme temperatures consistently. The mastery of heat treatment became another crucial innovation. Ancient metallurgists discovered that rapidly cooling hot iron in water, a process we now call quenching, created an incredibly hard material. They also learned that reheating the quenched iron to specific temperatures, what we today call tempering, could reduce brittleness while maintaining strength. This delicate balance of heating and cooling transformed acceptable tools into exceptional ones. The identification and selection of iron ores marked another significant advancement. Early smiths learned to recognize different types of ore by their color, weight, and texture. They discovered that certain black stones, rich in magnetite, yielded superior iron. They developed tests to determine ore quality. Some would break samples and examine the grain, while others learned to identify good ore by its response to preliminary heating. But perhaps the most remarkable technological advancement was the development of carbon manipulation. Even though ancient smiths didn't understand the chemistry involved, they discovered that iron tools buried in charcoal during heating became exceptionally hard. They had inadvertently invented steel. This process, which we now know as carburization, revolutionized toolmaking. The complexity of iron working required new tools and techniques. Specialized tongs were developed to handle hot metal. New hammer designs emerged for different stages of forging. Smiths invented swages and dies for shaping metal, and developed flux materials to help remove impurities during smelting. These advancements didn't happen in isolation. The need for charcoal led to innovations in forestry management. The demand for better furnaces spurred advancements in ceramics and refractory materials. The entire technological ecosystem evolved to support iron production. The most extraordinary aspect of these developments was their precision. Without modern measuring tools or scientific understanding, ancient smiths achieved remarkably consistent results through careful observation and generational knowledge. They could control temperatures by the color of the flames, judge carbon content by the spark pattern when grinding, and determine optimal quenching temperatures by the subtle changes in the metal's glow. Each of these innovations built upon the others, creating a technological revolution that transformed society. The ability to produce stronger tools led to better mining techniques, which led to better ore selection, which in turn led to better iron. This positive feedback loop of technological advancement drove civilization forward at an unprecedented pace. Like the ancient alchemists who would follow them, these early metallurgists were indeed performing a kind of magic, the magic of technology and innovation that transformed rocks into the tools that built civilizations. As we reflect on these ancient innovations, one can't help but draw parallels to modern technological revolutions. If you're amazed by this technological transformation, leave a like and share your thoughts. Which ancient invention do you think comes closest to matching the impact of iron metallurgy? Was it the invention of the wheel, the development of writing, or perhaps the mastery of agriculture? Let us know in the comments below. The transition to the Iron Age represents one of history's most complex and turbulent periods of technological and social change. This shift wasn't merely about adopting new metalworking techniques. It was a struggle that reshaped the entire ancient world's power structure. Imagine powerful Bronze Age cities like Ur and Ugarit, where merchant princes had grown wealthy controlling the tin and copper trade routes. For generations, these elites had maintained their power through carefully managed scarcity. Bronze required tin and copper, often sourced from locations thousands of miles apart. This complex trade network wasn't just about commerce, it was about power, influence, and control. When iron began to emerge as a viable alternative, these established powers faced an existential threat. Iron ore was commonly found throughout the ancient world. Any region with access to iron ore deposits and sufficient fuel for furnaces could potentially produce their own metal tools and weapons. This democratization of metal production was nothing short of revolutionary and terrifying to those in power. The resistance took many forms. In some regions, bronze-working elites spread disinformation about iron, claiming it was inferior, cursed, or spiritually unclean. Archaeological evidence suggests some powerful cities attempted to suppress iron-working knowledge through laws and religious prohibitions. Trade guilds, which had grown powerful during the Bronze Age, often used their influence to discourage the adoption of iron technology. The challenges weren't just political. The transition to iron required massive investments in new infrastructure. Traditional bronze foundries couldn't achieve the higher temperatures needed for iron smelting. New furnaces had to be built, new techniques learned, and new trade networks established for fuel supply, particularly charcoal. Many early attempts at iron production failed, reinforcing skepticism about the new metal. Environmental challenges also emerged. Iron production required enormous amounts of wood for charcoal. In some regions, this led to severe deforestation, forcing iron producers to constantly seek new fuel sources. The environmental impact of intensive iron production created additional resistance in some areas. The knowledge gap presented another significant hurdle. Unlike bronze working, which had been refined over thousands of years, ironworking was new and more complex. Early iron products were often inferior to bronze ones because artisans were still learning to master the new technology. This learning curve meant that early adoption of iron technology often came with significant risks and failures. Perhaps the most profound challenge was social disruption. Cities that had grown wealthy from bronze trade saw their economies collapse. Traditional trade routes became less important, leading to the decline of once powerful trading centers. New power centers emerged around iron-producing regions, causing widespread population movements and political instability. The Hittite Empire initially tried to maintain a monopoly on advanced iron-working techniques, treating the knowledge as a state secret punishable by death if revealed. However, like many technological advances, the knowledge gradually spread. Each time it reached a new region, it triggered similar patterns of resistance, adaptation, and eventual transformation. This period of transition lasted for centuries in some regions. The collapse of the Bronze Age trading system, combined with the challenges of adopting iron technology, led to a dark age in many areas. Some regions clung to bronze for generations after iron became available, creating a patchwork of technological adoption that influenced military and economic power balances. The story of iron's triumph over bronze serves as a powerful reminder of how technological changes often face resistance from established powers. It's a pattern that would repeat throughout history, from the Industrial Revolution to the digital age. In each case, new technologies threatened existing power structures while creating opportunities for new groups to rise to prominence. The challenges of the Iron Age transition weren't overcome in a single dramatic moment, but through countless small victories. Individual artisans learning new skills, communities investing in new infrastructure, and societies gradually adapting to new economic realities. It's a testament to human adaptability and the inexorable force of technological progress, even in the face of powerful resistance. The parallels between the Iron Age revolution and our modern digital transformation offer fascinating insights into how technological democratization reshapes human society. Let's explore these historical echoes and their profound implications. During the Bronze Age, knowledge and power were concentrated in the hands of a select few. Bronze production required rare materials, complex trade networks, and closely guarded technical knowledge. This mirrors how, before the internet, information was largely controlled by traditional gatekeepers, publishers, broadcasters, and academic institutions. The Iron Revolution shattered this monopoly on power. Suddenly, communities with access to iron or in basic knowledge could produce their own tools and weapons. They no longer needed to rely on distant trade networks or powerful elites. This democratization of production transformed society from the bottom up, much like how the internet has revolutionized information sharing and content creation. Consider these striking parallels. In the Iron Age, local communities could establish their own metalworking facilities, breaking their dependence on distant bronze-producing centers. Today, individuals and small organizations can create websites, publish content, and reach global audiences without relying on traditional media outlets. Just as iron tools made agriculture more efficient and accessible to common farmers, digital tools have made knowledge work and creative production accessible to anyone with a computer and internet connection. The barriers to entry have dramatically fallen in both cases. The resistance to iron technology from Bronze Age elites mirrors modern concerns from traditional institutions about digital disruption. Just as ancient trade guilds fought against iron's adoption, many established industries today struggle to adapt to digital transformation. However, the lessons go deeper than mere technological parallel. The Iron Age teaches us about the social impact of democratized technology. First, democratization doesn't mean instant equality. Just as some regions mastered iron working before others, creating temporary advantages, today's digital divide continues to create disparities in opportunity and access. Second, new technologies often create new elites. While iron was more accessible than bronze, skilled ironworkers became powerful figures in their communities. Similarly, while the internet has democratized information, new digital elites have emerged. Third, technological democratization often leads to periods of instability before new social structures emerge. The collapse of Bronze Age power structures led to a dark age in many regions. Today, we're experiencing similar disruptions in traditional institutions and power structures. The Iron Age also teaches us about the inevitability of technological adoption. Despite resistance, iron technology eventually spread across the ancient world because its advantages were too significant to ignore. This offers a valuable perspective on current technological transitions. Resistance to change may delay, but rarely prevents the adoption of superior technologies. Perhaps most importantly, both revolutions demonstrate how democratized technology empowers innovation. Just as local ironworking communities develop their own techniques and improvements, today's digital creators constantly innovate with new forms of content, communication, and collaboration. Looking forward, the Iron Age transition suggests that our current digital revolution is still in its early stages. Just as iron technology continued to evolve for centuries, developing into steel and eventually modern metallurgy, our digital tools and their social implications will likely continue to evolve in ways we can't yet imagine. The lesson for our time might be this: when technology democratizes power, whether through better tools or better access to information, society transforms in fundamental ways. Those who adapt and embrace these changes tend to thrive, while those who resist often find themselves left behind. As we navigate our own technological revolution, the Iron Age reminds us that such transformations, while disruptive, ultimately lead to new opportunities and capabilities that benefit society as a whole. The key is to manage the transition in ways that maximize benefits while minimizing disruption, a challenge as relevant today as it was 3,000 years ago. In both eras, the fundamental truth remains. When the tools of power become accessible to many rather than few, humanity's potential for innovation and progress expands dramatically. The Iron Age wasn't just about better tools, it was about better possibilities for human achievement. In the same way, our digital age isn't just about better technology, it's about expanding human potential in ways we're only beginning to understand. In the shadowy depths of ancient royal tombs, archaeologists have uncovered a fascinating truth about our ancestors' values. The first iron objects were considered more precious than gold itself. These rare iron artifacts, particularly small daggers found in royal burials, were treated as treasures beyond measure. Let me take you back to a time when iron was rarer than the most precious metals we know today. In the tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, archaeologists discovered an iron dagger that had survived over 3,000 years. This wasn't just any dagger. Analysis revealed it was made from meteoric iron, literally a blade forged from the stars. The ancient Egyptians called iron Bin Pet, meaning metal from heaven. Archaeological evidence shows these early iron objects traveled astonishing distances through ancient trade routes. A single iron artifact might journey from the Hittite Empire in modern-day Turkey to the shores of ancient Egypt, changing hands multiple times and increasing in value with each transaction. Some iron objects have been traced traveling over 2,000 miles from their origin points. The rarity of early iron objects stems from the immense difficulty in producing them. While gold could be found in its pure form and worked with relatively simple techniques, iron required extremely high temperatures and complex metallurgical knowledge that few possessed. This made early iron objects incredibly valuable diplomatic gifts, often exchanged between rulers as symbols of power and prestige. In the royal graves of Ur, archaeologists found iron beads that predated the Iron Age by several centuries. These precious ornaments were worn alongside gold and lapis lazuli, showing how iron was considered equal to, or even more valuable than, these precious materials. The iron beads were so precious that they were passed down through generations as royal heirlooms. Even more remarkably, some cultures believed iron possessed magical properties. The Hittites treated iron working as a divine secret, with metalworking rituals conducted under religious supervision. Every step of the iron-working process was shrouded in mystery and ceremony, adding to the metal's mystique and value. The transformation of iron from precious metal to common material marked one of history's most significant economic revolutions. What was once worth more than its weight in gold eventually became the backbone of human industry. Yet those early iron objects, sleeping in ancient tombs, remind us of a time when a simple iron dagger was considered a gift worthy of a king. The next time your hand touches something made of iron or steel, pause for a moment. Whether it's your kitchen knife, the frame of your computer, or the building you're standing in, you're connecting with a technology that fundamentally transformed human civilization. This isn't just metal, it's the crystallized form of one of humanity's greatest revolutions. Think about how iron reshaped our world. Before iron, power was concentrated in the hands of a few who controlled rare bronze-making resources. After iron, power flowed like molten metal into new hands, new places, new possibilities. This wasn't just about better tools, it was about better dreams, bigger ambitions, and broader horizons for all of humanity. Iron didn't just build tools, it built democracies. It didn't just forge weapons, it forged opportunities. It didn't just shape metal, it shaped the very course of human history. When we look at our modern world of steel skyscrapers and iron bridges, we're looking at the legacy of those ancient innovators who first dared to dream in iron. The story of iron is, in many ways, our story. It's a tale of human ingenuity overcoming seemingly impossible challenges. It's about the democratization of power and the triumph of innovation over tradition. Most importantly, it's about how a single technological breakthrough can reshape not just how we make things, but who we are as a society. This revolution never really ended. Today we still forge new frontiers in metallurgy, creating sophisticated alloys that would seem like magic to our ancestors. The The spirit of innovation that drove the Iron Age continues to drive us forward, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with metal and human ingenuity. And just as iron spread across the ancient world, changing everything it touched, its impact continues to ripple through time, touching our lives in countless ways. Every time we pick up a tool, open a door, or travel across a bridge, we're participating in this continuing revolution. If you've been captivated by this journey through one of humanity's greatest transformations, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with others who might be inspired by this remarkable story of human achievement. Subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more fascinating explorations of how our ancestors shaped the world we live in. Join us on this continuing journey through human innovation. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and become part of our community of history enthusiasts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What other ancient technologies do you think had a similar world-changing impact? Remember, every artifact has a story, every innovation has its heroes, and every technological revolution changes not just what we can do, but who we can become. See you next week for another fascinating journey into the past that shaped our present.